This is a 2020 Ford Escape, and kind of a common problem on the early generation of these Escapes is, did you hear that clunk right there? Basically, this bracket that holds this door check in, there's a bracket behind here, has ripped out and pulled those spot welds loose. There's 3 right here, and actually 2 that are kind of like behind the weather stripping right there. You can see one, and there's another one right there. So anyway, very annoying. And as of right now, the fix from Ford is nothing. They say that you're on your own if you're out of warranty, which this car has like 60,000 miles or something like that on it. It's not old by any means, and it's like a year out of warranty. It's a 2020, and it's like early 24 right now. So very annoying. Obviously, I would consider this to be a relatively new car, but that's on Ford and all these companies these days. But anyway, I'm gonna come up with a fix. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. It's actually my mother-in-law's vehicle, so first things first here, I'm going to attempt to take the door off. I think it'll be easier to work with it when it's off and on a bench, not trying to work in that corner. There's not much access and not much room to get any type of tool in there. Pretty much the options as I see it are, you could either rivet it, you could try and bolt that bracket back in, or you could try and weld the bracket back in. But some version of those fixes probably upcoming for us. So anyway, I'm gonna get started with this thing. So the first step of getting this door panel removed are you're gonna take a little screwdriver and come in here, pop that sucker out. Notice it's got 2 little ears on the backside, so you wanna come at it from the front there. And then behind there is, looks like an 8mm bolt. All right, so the next piece we wanna take off is this little switch plate deal. And so we're gonna grab underneath here with some plastic tools. I don't want to screw anything up here. And that's the bottom side of it. There's the little clips that can be kind of tough to get out. Next we have these 2 bolts down here. They're 7mm. Okay, then down below here, right here, and over here are 2 7mm bolts as well. All right, and then also behind this reflector, you need to come in here, a little screwdriver, and push kind of right in the middle, because that pushes that little little arm back. And then inside there is an 8mm again. All right, so just to recap, we got 2 screws in here, 1 screw up here, 1 screw over here, and 2 on the bottom. So that's basically what you need, and so we'll try and pull it out here. Okay, so when you pull the door panel off, you have to undo right here. I got this kind of rotate around, so you gotta undo the connector for the unlock and the lock. That's basically behind the door, that's right here. And then also there's the cable setup, this guy right here, plugs into the back of the door latch, and there's a little catch right here. So you just take a screwdriver, just go in there, kind of pop that sucker out so that the cables stay behind. All right, next thing here, I'm gonna try and take this guts portion of this door off, and basically I got a 13mm socket, and I'm just gonna do these are like a 1/4 turn here deal, and we'll go around and get this off of here. Okay, so this harness comes in down here, and it loops across the face of this and then goes up into the mirror here. So what I'm gonna do is try and, strip this harness off of the face of this, undo all my connectors, and then there's all these little like zip tie holder deals that I'm gonna have to undo, so that hopefully I can just kind of grab this black piece and kind of scoot it back and get it out of here. Okay, so now the harness is off and, you know, hanging in a spot that works for me. All right, so I've been kind of hassling with getting this piece out here for a little bit, and basically in behind here are two nuts that I've loosened, but you can see now I'm starting to, it's quite loose, but it's messing with the window, so I taped the window up because I absolutely don't want the window to fall down into there and break. So we're just gonna keep fussing with this for a second. All right, so I ended up taking the entire window and the inside off. Basically, I got all these little white little quarter turns undone, but it was still hooked to the window like regulator and carriage. So then I undid this nut and this nut, and those are tucked behind here and here with the window up, and undid those two. And then let's see, how did it go? I did take the motor off, but I don't think you needed to, but I did. And then basically the glass clips into these little holes. There's one in the front and one in the back. And you know, you can see if you flip this over, you got to basically pull this out, and then this little deal, you can just flex that open enough that the glass comes out. But you got to like drop this portion, you have to drop it down enough that you can get your hand up there and undo it. So kind of an annoying little deal. I'm assuming my order of operations of how to do that wasn't exactly right, but point is, got the glass out, got the guts out of the door, and so now we can pretty clearly see what's going on here. That bracket is, you know, fully ripped off there. And basically what I'm gonna try to do is see if I can undo this harness and actually take the whole door off. It'd be really easy and nice to work on this, you know, not in the vehicle, but we'll just see here. All right, after much struggle, this harness is now fully unthreaded out of this door. You can get to all the connectors. There's like a couple over here. One sneaks up behind here for the mirror. And point is, you can undo them, and then all the little spots where the little barbs sit in, and just thread that out and push it back through here. I was hoping there'd be like a connector in here, and maybe there is that I don't know about, but not apparently. So I wish it was a Bronco or something, but anyway, now I should be able to take this door off super easily, and I can work on it on the bench or some other place where it's more convenient than on my knees right here. All right, well now we're in full chop shop mode. We got the door off of here, and it's not really that heavy as far as doors go. So I'm going to get our parts and see how this all works, see if we can get a plan together. All right, now that we can see what we're doing here and conveniently work, first thing I'm gonna do is grind the little heads off of those spot welds, because they're kind of bent and misformed, and they're kind of like keeping it from sitting right where it's supposed to sit. So I'm gonna get those knocked off of there. So I got these spot welds knocked down to basically flat. I want to take off as little material as possible. And then now you can see these three, but there's two that are hidden behind here. So basically with this weather stripping, you just need to like kind of cheat it over the one side and cheat it back the other way, and then those little T's will pull off. So every time you see one of those little T's, you can just kind of do that little same deal and get us a little room to operate here, so we can tuck it back, kind of flop it back over this way. Okay, now I pulled this little piece out. It's just got these little clips right here, and right here. So you just get a little screwdriver or something in there to pull that out. All right, so I got this, virtually stripped as far as I think we need to go here. We could take this window track out behind here, but I don't think it's going to be super necessary. This piece can go back in here. You can see that it sits pretty decent once you grind those spot welds off. Then we can put tension on this thing and actually plow it right up into the corner here. Then basically what I'm going to be looking to do is get like a temporary means of holding this in here. What I'm probably going to do is put a fourth screw like right here or like right here, something like that, a couple screws to hold this so that I can try and get this thing prepped up for, I don't know, weld, or I still haven't really decided what I'm going to do here. Weld or bolted in or riveted in or whatever we do. We're just going to have to start placing this in so it sits the way we want it to. All right, so I've been kind of messing with this a little bit already. I took a long screw and put in behind here and like yanked on it and like pulled up so that it would try and flatten out this little flange right here, because I have like kind of a ridge where the welds, as they were breaking, they like kind of peeled back and like kind of screwed up the surface here. So I want this to be as flat as possible. So I'm going to drill them to quarter inch size so that I can actually get this flattened out in here. Try that out. Alright, so I've relocated now, and basically I have made up my mind here. I think I'm going to try and weld this first, and I just want a more permanent fix. I'm worried that rivets or bolts would come loose, or rivets would work themselves loose as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of skim around the edges here to make sure we have good fresh metal there, and then make sure the bracket behind here, everything sits as flushly as possible, because you really want, when you're welding on that, you want that to be virtually no gap there. So I'm going to use you can see the witness mark of the old spot weld is still hanging in there. I'm going to use those as kind of landmarks for when I get this set up here. All right, so I got everything prepped up here. I ground off just a little piece of this brace, so I got a good ground on my door, and then of course clean this up all really nice, clean these up enough, they're nice and deburred, so hopefully it sits up there pretty decent. I measured the thickness of this door skin piece right here. It's 40 thousandths thick, which that is the problem, I would say. It's just everything is so darn thin, which, I mean, obviously they're doing it for weight and price and everything, but man, at some point it's maybe a little thin. But anyway, I'm gonna get the welder set up best I can and maybe try one of these out. All right, so 40 thousandths would be 18 gauge, so that's what I have this set to. We'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Well, who knows when my camera died and everything there. That was kind of a long process, but basically just hit this over, bop, 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 slowly kind of bouncing between them as possible. And then, you can't just sit there and bury through it, because it'll just blow a hole right through this whole sucker. So anyway, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually drilled 2 more right here. I don't know if I caught that on camera. And then also I was looking at this, I'm like, well shoot, maybe I could put 2 here. So I did 2 here. So now we got, I think it was originally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, something like that. And now we got 4, 6, 11. So effectively doubled it here. I would say at this point, if it gives, it's probably going to be the sheet metal is going to tear, right here or who knows where. But it's ugly right now, I can admit that. But I think it'll turn out once I get home and get a little paint on this thing and just kind of spritz it up, make it look decent. and I think that'll be a decent job. So I'm gonna pick up my mess and relocate. All right, so it's the next day, and I got some of the finest wax and grease remover and just wipe down this area, make sure there's no little speckles from little beads of weld that have bounced around and done all these things. So clean this up really good, and then we're gonna kind of figure out where we're gonna have our masking line and where we need to scuff it. All right, so I actually took some 1000 grit, got this all masked off just the way I want it. I was probably a little premature with the wax and grease remover. I went back, hit it with 1000 grit to kind of scuff it up, take off the shiny so that the paint and all those types of things stick to it. So then once I'm all done with this, everything's just right, then I'm gonna hit it with wax and grease remover again. Alright, so it's been a couple days here and this primer's had a chance to dry up nice. I unmasked it because originally I was just hoping to just spritz in a couple areas, but I ended up basically coating the whole area. So now I'm gonna unmask this, soften this edge with sandpaper, and then remask back like another inch or something like that for clear coat and all the actual paint products. All right, so I took 1000 grit sandpaper and wet sanded and knocked this edge off. You can see a couple of spots there where it really softened it down because I don't really want like a hard edge there if at all possible. Now I'm going to mask back a little bit where I over sanded. You can see like right here where I over sanded a little bit, so I'll mask back a little bit more, and that'll be my color and clear line, which there will be a line, but we'll get past it on a touch-up bodywork session like this. All right, so I didn't film it, but I got my white on here. It was kind of a struggle. The gun is kind of spitting, so I'm assuming it's dirty, and a bunch of other terrible things are going on that paint and body guys will probably just be dying when they see. But for me, this will be enough. We got the white on. I still have the little the flake-ish type color, and then clear, of course. And so I'm just going to leave this masked up. Get the next color mixed up, but you can see like there's little pieces of lint and other things that get shot out of that gun basically. But more or less, this is what we're going for. So on to the next steps here. All right, so there's the flake tricoat portion, and I'll get that kind of mixed in there good and measured out. Okay, so I don't remember the last shot I had, but I spit some white on here, some of the flake went on, and then I used some aerosol clear coat, and that actually went on just fine, and I think we're gonna have a good result here. You know, it might be a little bit of orange peel and some other things like that, probably not good enough for the exterior of the vehicle, but for where we are right here, you know, basically just trying to prevent corrosion, all those other types of things, and have it jump off the page as being looking weird, you know, welds and stuff like that. I think we're gonna be okay. So I'm gonna let this cure up before I unmask it, probably later tonight or something like that, and then we'll get this thing reassembled. All right, so we're back home, unmasked, got everything tore down here, and obviously there's a hard line here. That's where I masked this thing, and you know, there really isn't a way to do this to make it look blended and perfectly beautiful, because you know, even Ford came up light here and shadowed right there, and because this door was on the vehicle when it was actually sprayed at the factory. So this is just kind of one of those deals you're gonna have. I mean, possibly you could have not masked this and like fanned this out and gotten really, you know, kind of overcomplicated about doing this, but ultimately all I'm trying to do here is make it so that it's covered for corrosion, you know, rust or whatever, and then also just make it kind of blend in, which if you look at it from this angle, boy, that's going to be tough. You know, you're going to have this weather strip that comes across here to blend this in, and then there's going to be that black piece of trim that's going to cover up somewhere like right in here. You know, you're just not going to really care that much about that. So anyway, we're going to get this back on the vehicle, get it reassembled. I got a couple clips I got to put in, all this kind of business, and just get it put back on the vehicle. So the weather strip is back attached. I got the door check put back in. Plenty stiff. That door check Ford, you know, I don't know, it's not really, it doesn't need to be that strong, but whatever, that's fine. Got that all put back together. That's about all the more together we make the door, because I got to feed the harness through here and get these 2 bolts attached, so we'll hang the door. Alright, so that door is fit back on there. I'm looking for this line to be flush, this gap to be about the same, down, same, flush right here, not hanging out, same deal. Good gap all the way down. Who knows how well these fit to begin with. This might need a little adjustment here to get this just right. But generally, that's where we're at. And then, of course, the most important thing, when you open this, all of our pieces is holding together. There's not any issue of opening and shutting. So anyway, I'll call it fixed. We'll get this thing put back together. All right, so now we got this through here. We need to basically reattach all the wiring that we undid. All right, well there it is. Window works, everything's good. And you can see the final result. There's a little line right there and a little line right there, but definitely not gonna throw you off when you're getting in here. And I would say an informed buyer that goes to look at this will see those welded and have confidence that this thing has been repaired the right way and is not gonna have any issues in the future. So anyway, hope your Escape doesn't have this issue. And I hope Ford fixes it. That'd be great, but I kind of doubt it. So if it does, not too bad of a job. Hope this will get you fixed up. Thanks for watching.